Hey y'all, it's Chef Q, and today I'm gonna share with you my recipe for chicken thighs with a mushroom white wine sauce. Very, very easy. It tastes amazing. And our ingredients are going to be, I'm gonna have some shiitake mushrooms, a little honey Dijon mustard, I have some shallots that I have diced up. So it was half of this. So when you buy the shallots, it'll be in like a bowl. I used half of the bowl, okay? I have some white wine, a dry wine preferably. A Chardonnay is a very good dry wine to use when you're cooking. I have my favorite, Better Than Bouillon roasted garlic flavor. I have a little sazon, some smoked paprika, some heavy cream, my kosher salt. I have some fresh thyme and rosemary that I've taken off the stem already. I have some blackened seasoning and some onion powder, garlic powder, okay? So first we are gonna start with our chicken thighs. I have cleaned them, I have pat them dry. I also have the one with the skin on it because you're gonna love the way that the skin crisp up, and it just tastes better with the skin to me when you make this, okay? While my pan is heating up, I have a little butter and a little olive oil in there. We're gonna start off seasoning, okay? So I'm gonna start with my sazon. Then my onion powder. My blackened garlic, smoked paprika, and a little bit of kosher salt. Not much, just a little bit. I really try not to cook with a whole lot of salt. I find when you use the right combination of spices and fresh herbs, you really don't need a lot of salt for flavor. All right, so we got our pan hot. Let's get that other side. Okay, so we have our pan hot. We're gonna put the skin side down first. That's your presentation side, your pretty side. Always put your skin side down first. Okay? We're gonna get those nice and pretty. I also have a chicken breast here that I'm gonna use that I just could not let go to waste. I needed to cook it, y'all, so. There we go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cook this on both sides, and then we'll finish it off in the oven. So what we'll do is we'll brown it on both sides. I'm gonna finish it off in the oven. I have the oven set to about 350. Our skin has that color and crispness we want. We're gonna flip it over. Look at that. And again, you can do this with breast as well. So we'll let that cook a little bit, a couple minutes on this side. And what we're gonna do is finish it off in the oven. And we'll prepare our mushroom sauce while that goes down. Okay, so we've removed our chicken. We're not gonna rinse our pan out, okay? What we're gonna do is add a little more olive oil, just a little. And we're gonna add our mushrooms, okay? And what you wanna do is cook those until they're a nice brown color as well. Again, I use shiitakes. You can use baby bellas. You can mix the different mushrooms if you like. I happen to like the flavor of the shiitake mushrooms. for this particular dish, okay? So we'll let that get brown. You may or may not have to add more olive oil or butter if you choose. I think I'll add a little butter to this. Okay. And you just kind of want to get the moisture out of your mushrooms. We know that mushrooms hold a lot of water naturally, so you want to cook them again till they're nice and golden or have a brown color to it, like a saute. If you like them a little crispy, make them a little crispy. And as we saute those, and they start to get that little color on it, it's got a little color on it. Look at me making a mess. We will add our shallots. So again, that's half of the bowl. And the bowl that I had was a pretty large one. So shallots are kind of like an onion. It has a more rich flavor to me. So we'll saute this all together. We have removed the moisture from our mushrooms, as you can see. They're a nice brown color. And what we're gonna do now is deglaze the pan with the white wine. So, do that there. And you see I use maybe about 1/4 of the bottle and add a tiny bit more, not that much. Okay, so what you're gonna do is make sure you scrape the bottom of your pan with plastic or wood, of course, guys. And by deglazing, it means that you're basically using that white wine to get all of the residue from your chicken, your mushrooms, and all of that cooking is basically seasoning in your sauce. Okay, so we have that there. Now we're going to add some chicken broth. And what's gonna happen here is we're gonna bring it to a boil. And while we're waiting for that to get to that boil, I'm gonna put a little bit of the better than bouillon garlic. I am also going to add a little bit of heavy cream, not much, just about so. And here's where you also add your fresh rosemary and thyme. And like I said, we're gonna bring that to a boil. It's gonna look like this. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. But it's gonna be a nice hearty sauce. So we'll bring that to a boil. Our wine and our chicken broth and a little bit of heavy cream has come to a boil. And what we're gonna do now is add that honey Dijon mustard. And I'm not even gonna put all of this in there, just about, I wanna say maybe that's like a tablespoon and a half. And we're gonna mix that all in. When I tell y'all the smell of this rosemary and thyme and the shallots, it smells low-key like Thanksgiving in here. So we're gonna let that simmer a little bit more. And what I have here is a slurry. And this is gonna thicken up the sauce a little bit. So we'll put a little bit of that in there. Not all of it, because you don't want it to get too thick. Not really like a gravy, or something in between a gravy and a sauce. And if it gets too thick, like I feel like mine is doing right now, you can add a little more chicken stock or wine and turn off your heat. Okay, so that looks pretty good to me. There's the consistency of it. And now what we're gonna do is get our chicken out of the oven. I'm gonna add this to the sauce. So you got your chicken thighs. You're gonna put that in there like that. And like that. Again, I've turned my fire off, my heat off, and just move it over here where it's not still cooking. And you can just spoon that sauce right over the chicken. If you want more sauce, just double whatever it is that you, the amount that you did for the first batch. I'm gonna spoon that over just like that. Look at this, y'all. Look at that. Can you see it? All right, so what I have done is paired this up with some red mashed potatoes. We got some fresh green beans, right chia, and chicken thigh. Look at that. Y'all gotta make sure it's nice and saucy. We're gonna put that right there like that. And we're gonna spoon some of this sauce and these mushrooms right over the top. Yes, ma'am, and sirs. All right, look at that, y'all. Chicken thighs, fresh mushrooms, white wine sauce. Got your chicken broth in there, fresh herbs. You got rosemary and thyme, red mashed potatoes. Tell me how you like it. Enjoy.